Hello, I'm the FanFic Critic. I read it, you listen. Episode 3, everyone! Yay! Although, according to the fanfic, it's episodes 7 through 9, but for this series, it's episode 3. So let's not waste any time. The name of chapter 7 is The Sisters of the Sightless Eye. Alright, let's get started. No, this is a dream! Ryusu was standing on the crane. The Nega rebels were on the other side, holding the control switch. This is no dream. Now make the choice or I refuse to comply with your presence. This is a dream. It's the same dream I've had for years. I finally gained up enough control to admit it. I refuse to let this dream control me. You're not in control anymore. And just for that, the Nega rebel hit the switch and the two fell down into oblivion. Ryusu started to shake in fear. Ray! Ryusu jumped off the crane down towards Ray. He was suddenly Sailor Centauri and still falling. He finally caught up with Ray and pulled out his flute device. He shot out a yellow bolt of energy rope and wrapped around a steel beam. He gave the flute to Ray, then proceeded to follow the screaming child. Remembering a vital piece of the next few seconds, he then turned around and used his Giga Blade to slice the steel beam behind him that was falling towards him in half. Turning around again, his anti-gravity thrusters kicked in and he stared in horror at the ground. The seconds he took to destroy the beam cost the child his life. He was now a bloody puddle on the hard, sandy floor. Well, at least the dream was a bit different this time. Ryusu once again woke up in a cold sweat. This time, however, he was in a horse and a buggy. Lucy, the dreams again? Ryusu nodded. Michelle, I swear, he has to see a doctor or something. No, I don't. Once we defeat Diablo, the dreams will end. Astra, didn't you tell us the dreams ended when you defeated Diablo that first time? For a time. Then the Wanderer took the Soul Stone and took it upon himself to shove it in his forehead. Ooh, where's Trista? Michelle, she took a time portal back to Tokyo, said the others needed her. Lucy looked ahead. Lucy, we're approaching the rogue encampment. Great. Let's get ready to leave. Michelle, couldn't we stay here and rest? No. The Prime Evils will not wait for us to get the Titans before they attack Tokyo. The other soldiers can only last so long against the forces of the three. We need to get all the Titans as soon as possible, and prepare for our biggest battle yet. Dramatic space. New scene. What do you mean all the caravan lines are closed? Rariv, who's a completely new character unless they're from the Diablo games. I'm sorry, young fellow, but there's a demonic presence in the wilderness, and we've closed all the lines until it's gone. But that won't happen unless I get through the caravan lines. There's nothing I can do. Maybe when the lines are reopened, I can take you to Lutgolian. This can't wait. It will, sailor soldier, a random voice said. Ryusu suddenly snapped his head in the direction of the voice. A woman wearing a purple cloak was approaching him. Woman, it will wait, and you will leave. Two things. Who are you, and how do you know what I am? Woman, I am Akara, High Priestess of the Sisters of the Sightless Eyes. The stars know everything, sailor. Don't call him sailor. That just makes me think of Popeye the Sailor Man, not Sailor Moon. A chap named Nephlite used to say the same thing. He's dead now. Akara, that does not matter. All I know is that you shall leave immediately and never return to my camp. Why? We have enough problems keeping the demons here at bay. Bringing you and your compatriots here will merely bolster their forces and bring more demons that will overrun our camp. Guess what, lady? We're not going anywhere. Not until the caravan lines are reopened. Dramatic space. It's another scene. Mephisto. Mephisto broke apart everything he could to find his Durance. He was enraged at how the Sailor Titans managed to defeat him and his minions. I have actually fought with them. Why can I not defeat a bunch of teenage do-gooders? And why aren't my minions competent enough to destroy them? Suddenly, Andriel, the spider-like demon, walked into the room. My lord, I heard you shouting. I believe I can destroy the Sailor Titans. Mephisto. Are you saying you are more powerful than me? Should say than me, not then me. Oh no, my lord. I just believe I may be able to find a way to destroy them, one that you do not find. Very well, try. Don't come crawling back to me if you start to lose. I will not have to, my lord. Okay, dramatic space must mean a new scene. Lucy. Listen, Akara. We need that caravan to get to the deserts of Lutgolin. Akara. I am sorry, Lucy, but it is not possible at this time. Okay, typo there, get rid of the extra T and with the demon infestation in and around this area, we cannot have anyone leave at the risk of being killed by them. If we're all in the caravan, we can protect them. Akara. Some of the demons are like nothing your group has ever seen before. I faced and defeated Diablo, alone. We can take whatever this is. Akara. Very well, stay. But I will not be here to help you when the Dark Ones come to take this place. Michelle. Do you know of a place where we can stay? Akara. Look around you. You sleep on the ground. Akara walked away. Wow, what a bitch. Well, it's pretty late. We should set up camp. Lucy. I don't like this. I've known Akara for a while. She's not usually this pessimistic. Michelle. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Sleep is what we need now. Right. Pleasant dreams, everyone. Alright, it looks like it's another dream sequence for Ryutsu, but it looks like it's written differently, so it's not the same dream over again, so let's read it. Ryutsu looked around. He was back on the crane. He decided he wouldn't jump this time. He would walk away. Then he looked at the Negaverse rebels. Only they weren't the Negaverse rebels this time. Diablo. The choice is yours, Sailor Soldier. You're Sailor Mars, or the child. Ryutsu was in utter shock. Never in any of his dreams had the Negaverse rebels been replaced by another form. This constancy of the dream... This constancy? I'm not sure if you spelled that right, but whatever. Was beginning to play with his thoughts, he speculated. This isn't real. You're not real. I won't let you dominate my life. I have already dominated your life. Every time you kill a demon. Every time one of their heads or their torsos or some other piece is sliced off or exploded with your weaponry, you think of me. You think of how you will think you're weakening my forces every time you do this. You're going insane with rage, thinking that you never achieved your initial goal of killing me, and you never will. Lies! You are a lying piece of evil smegging smeg. Your British insults mean rather little to me, Centauri. Oh, by the way, look down. Ryutsu looked down and saw now both Sailor Mars and the child on the ground, dead. Voice, we're under attack! Ryutsu woke up to the words. He saw many women in rogue outfits all carrying a type of bow and arrow or pike as they proceeded to the main entrance of the encampment. Michelle and Lucy had also been awakened. Michelle, what's going on? Astra, the encampment's under attack. Titans, transform! Ryutsu, Alpha Centauri power! The whole pink blah 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 blah. Okay, so it says Michelle yelling moon crystal power. Again, it shows the transformation. Lucy yells her name, and then da 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 da, and there. Let's skip on to the next part. And Ariel. Kill them! Kill all the sisters of the sightless eye! And Ariel was behind a rather large group of skeleton demons, which were all attacking most of the rogues. The rogues were not doing well at all, having most of them been slain by attacks from skeletal mages and skeletal archers before they could get a shot off. Voice. You have no appreciation for siblings. Andriel. Huh? Andariel looked up and saw three silhouettes against the moon. The silhouettes then faded into the shapes of the Sailor Titans. Your evil plot to destroy this encampment is wrong. Moonshine. We're Sailor Titans. Sephiros. We stand for honor and light. And in the name of Alpha Centauri. And in the name of the moon. And in the name of the former planet Sephiros. We shall punish you! We shall punish you! We shall punish you! And Ariel. This isn't Ariel speaking. Okay. What is it with you people and the weird speeches? Skeletons! Destroy them! Moonshine held up her staff before her. Moonshine! Time Stopper! A wave of blue energy shot out of the staff, freezing all the skeletons in its path. And Ariel had jumped clear, however. Sephiros. Now, Roogs! Take out the skeletons! The Roogs complied, or Rogues, or Roogs, whatever, attacking with all their weapons and annihilating the skeletons into a large pile of bones. Now for you, blasphemous demon. The rogues or rouges aimed their weaponry. Indario, you call yourselves titans? Urchins are what you are. Indario shot out a beam of green energy, hitting each of the rogues and sending them clear back into a nearby straw shack. That was uncalled for! Giga Missile! Moonshine Mirror! Sephiro's Valiant Charge! A missile came out of Centauri's wrist armor. A reflection of the shine of the moon shot out of Moonshine's mirror shaft, and Sephiro's ring shot out a silhouette of a fiery woman running at Indario. The three blasts knocked themselves into Indario, who was knocked back a foot. She staggered for a moment, trying to keep balance. She stayed up and shook it off. You'll die for that! Voice. Sword Azurath. A flaming white sword shot down and hit Indario in the leg. She screamed in pain and pulled it out of her and throwing it to the ground in front of her. She then looked at her hand and saw they were burned with holy fire. Tyrael floated down and picked up the sword. Tyrael, the fires of heaven are more than a match for you, demon. I am here to destroy you. Indario, an archangel. I never knew you brats had an angel on your side. I shall return. Indario began to run as fast as she could with her pained and bleeding leg. To be continued. Well, that's the end of Chapter 7/Episode 7. Let's move on to Episode 8. This episode is called Den of Evil. The quest continues. We finally located the Rogue encampment, and we've now fought with a lesser demon known as Indario. Her powers are rather large, but Teriel's sword is enough to chop her down, of course. But she's retreated. And then it says the theme song, The Touch by Stan Bush. We're going after her. Moonshine. Why? She's obviously been sent by Mephisto or one of the other two. I say we take her, capture her, and get some information. Teriel. I must agree. We need as much information in this war as possible. Sephiro's. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go. Akara. Wait! Akara was the high priestess of the Sisters of the Sightless Eye, the sisterhood which ran the Rogue encampment. She wasn't too thrilled when she learned earlier of the Sailor Titan's arrival. Akara, we have no time to tell how you want us to leave. Akara, actually, I wish to thank you for helping earlier with the Sister Rogues. They would have been killed if it not for you. Moonshine, you're welcome, but unfortunately we must go after Indario. Akara, as repayment, I'll give you this information. There's a cave nearby. It is known as the Den of Evil. Not many who go there return. Indario might have retreated there. Thanks for the info. It's greatly appreciated. Let's go, Titans! The three Sailor Titans ran as fast as their legs could take them out into the forests. Teriel flew alongside them. The ground seemed to waver and twist as they ran, attempting to catch up to Indario. They breathed heavily, except for Teriel, of course. It was a cold day. Sephiro's and Moonshine could see their breath in front of them as they ran. Centauri's helmet was blocking any kind of cold temperature he might feel. Centauri's foot tripped for a moment, but he regained equilibrium a few seconds afterwards. Inside of Centauri's helmet, holographic view screens were showing up in front of his eyes, displaying an array of power settings, sensor readings, health indicators for parts of his body, and even a list of what he had for breakfast. So is he kind of like Tony Stark with the Iron Man suit? I'm picking up her body heat about 60 meters to the east. The group shifted direction, following the tracking system of Centauri's armor. Coming out of the forest, they entered a large clearing, a rock-like structure with a black hole in it. Don't you mean where there was a rock-like structure with a black hole in it? I don't get why you have the word witch in there. The group stopped running at the hole. Sephiro's. The Den of Evil, I presume. Inside! We can't let her get away! Dramatic space, that means it's another scene. Diablo. Let me get this straight. 3 sailor misfits. Mephistos. Yes. Baal. Yes, I was told that I was pronouncing Baal's name wrong. You know, it rhymes with male, so Baal. Yay! Now it's Baal and not Baal, or whatever I was saying it was before. Baal. An archangel. Mephistos. Yes. Diablo. And a sailor soldier. Mephistos. Yes. Baal. All defeated you with a combined strike. Mephistos. I underestimated their strength. Diablo. Strength is irrelevant. There were less of these titans than there were soldiers when we fought them in Tokyo. Even their planet attack was deflected off of us. Bale. You are saying you alone are weak enough to be defeated by a small assemblage of them? Mephisto. Not at all. Diablo. You firsthand know that what one of them can do. These titans are stronger and more powerful than the sailor soldiers we have faced against, who are obviously falling already. Bale. Speaking of which, why are you concerning yourself with those titans in the first place? I say we concentrate our aims at destroying Tokyo and these sailor Hessians. Diablo. I must disagree. Sailor Centauri must be destroyed first. Bale. That Centauri is a personal vendetta for you. We should destroy the sailors in Tokyo and boost in our power against them. Mephistos. You are incorrect, brother. The Titans being stronger than the sailors of Tokyo. Stop saying sailors! Will boost the forces of good for the normal soldiers and destroy us. We know the normal soldiers cannot defeat the... I'm going to call them soldiers, not sailors, can defeat us. But if we use the powers of darkness against the Titans, it'll be more difficult. By destroying the Titans, the sailor soldiers will have nothing to help them in our glorious conquest of this world. Bale looked at his brothers with disdain about all this. Bale. Very well. Dramatic space must be the next scene. We have to get her, said Sailor Centauri in his thoughts. His thoughts were always returning to his eventual meeting with Diablo. Would he have the courage and spirit to go against him again? How could he know he could destroy him again? For crying out loud, the guy was annihilated by my four... Oh, well, okay, I guess it's supposed to be his thoughts, so let's reread then the accent. For crying out loud. The guy was annihilated by my force and planet's attack. But even then, his soul stone shard remained, and that dark wanderer had to freaking shove it into his forehead to contain Diablo. Centauri looked at his companions, the Sailor Titans and Teriel. I've never really thought about this before, but I've got the strangest life anyone's ever known. Okay, if these are supposed to be his thoughts, they really should be like italicized or something. And why is it all of a sudden being written like a normal story? Well, never mind about that, because now the next scene is all scripted again. Inconsistent is inconsistent. You might want to get consistent. Centauri suddenly returned his attention to the holographic displays in his helmet. They were flashing signs of warning that they were getting closer to Indariel. We're getting closer, hurry! Keep running! Everyone was feeling tired at this point, except for Teriel, of course. Well, no shit, he's an angel. They turned one last corner and saw the demon Indariel facing a cave wall. You have nowhere to run, Indariel. Surrender or be destroyed. Indariel slowly turned around and began to laugh. Indariel, foolish humans, arise, my minions! Indariel raised her arms into the air. The ground in front of her began to crack and crumble. The Titans took a step back in case the ground would crack towards them and suck them into a dark abyss. The ground did not crack towards them, but it began to rise upwards in chunks, slowly as hands began to rise up. The hand's skin looked either pale or pure bone. For the ones that weren't bone, the skin was extremely pale. You just said that! And sections of it were missing, revealing awful, that's not how you spell awful, looking muscle tissue in its place. Slowly the hands became arms with hands attached. Slowly the whole were replaced by the figured of undead skeletons that looked like a type of zombie. I actually thought they were going to be unicorns, not zombies. The skeletons were, as their name described, skeletons. Why are you... Is this just a way to make filler or something? Ugh. The zombies' bodies were different. They were extremely pale. We already know that because you already said that. And wore loincloth around the area where their legs met. Because even zombies have to have decency when it comes to their privates. Their skin was brittle, cracking at some times. At some points, you mean? Muscle tissue and even bone could be visible in some sections. Yes, I know, because they're zombies. Indariel, kill them. Kill them all! The zombies responded by slowly walking towards the Titans. The skeletons suddenly had glowing objects appear in their hands. As the glowing dimmed, the shapes of swords, scythes, military picks, and other assorted hand weapons appeared in their hands. Moving faster than the zombies, the skeletons ran as fast as they could towards the Titans. Centauri's line here. Gigablade! Centauri's red beam blade shot out of his wrist armor. Centauri charged at the group of the 3 skeletons and began to slice away at them. A group of zombies finally got close to Sailor Sephiros and prepared to strike her with their fists. Sephiros, valiant charge! Sailor Sephiros pointed her ring at the zombies, and it emitted a beam from it shaped into a fire silhouette of a woman running at the zombies. The valiant charge attack shot straight through into the zombies, exploding one of them into a pile of blood and guts and skin. Again, used commas, while the others began to burst into flames, exploding from the inside. Sephiros suddenly was struck... Well, that's an interesting typo. I am not sure how you managed that. And I'm not sure how you missed that. This is why rereading your work before posting it online is a good idea. Let's continue. Was struck from behind her head by a skeleton's sword handle. She fell to the ground in pain and surprise, and turned her body around. She saw the skeleton prepare to strike her down with a sword, and she rolled aside as the sword struck the ground she previously had been at. Moonshine, time stopper! Moonshine's staff fired a blue beam of energy at the skeleton, causing it to glow in a blue aurora. It didn't move after that. Moonshine, mirror! Moonshine's staff transformed into a mirror, and she held it up high and aimed it at the skeleton. Oh wait, that won't work. The moonshine can't come down from here. Moonshine was suddenly tackled into a wall by a zombie. The zombie began to beat her with its fists, and Moonshine struck the zombie's head with the end of her staff. The zombie was dazzled for a moment, but recovered quickly and continued to beat her. Suddenly, a flaming white sword struck into the zombie's back. The zombie stopped hitting Moonshine and was pulled off of her by the sword. Teriel kicked the zombie off his sword. Are you all right? I've been better. Sailor Centauri, we must retreat. Centauri shot a Giga missile into a skeleton, exploding into a pile of flaming bones. No, we can't let Endariel get away. Suddenly, Centauri was punched in the face by a zombie. Centauri regained his senses and sliced the zombie in half, torso from legs, with his Giga blade. Andariel, such resistance! Destroy them! The remaining group of undead soldiers formed together into a large group of skeletons and zombies. They were about to attack when... A red rose shot right down in front of them. Tuxedo mask? Okay. The Sailor Titans and Teriel all looked up to see who had thrown the rose. And lo and behold, don't you mean behold with a D, not an F? Behind them stood Tuxedo Mask. Yeah, totally expected, I know. Yeah, it was totally expected. Tux, where the hell have you been? Moonshine, he's dreamy, just like Teriel. Sephiros, who is he? His name's Tuxedo Mask. He throws roses and makes speeches. Nuff said. Moonshine, he's dreamy. Tuxedo Mask, your evil plans to destroy the Sailor Titans are spun in an evil web of yours, Endariel. They are wrong and deserve to be destroyed by the forces of light. You are now outnumbered and outgunned, Endariel. Surrender now. Wait, if there's a whole bunch of zombies and stuff, they're still outnumbered. Oh, whatever. Endariel looked around to assess her situation. Endariel, we shall meet again. Endariel suddenly jumped into the wall behind her, disappearing. The remaining skeletons and zombies suddenly collapsed into a pile of motionless body parts and bones. To be continued. Well, that's the end of Chapter 8/Episode 8. Let's move on to the next chapter/episode, which is called Blood Raven. The rain was beginning once again. 4 very agitated and 1 not so agitated figure walked over to the horizon from the cave known as the Den of Evil. God is playing games with me. Moonshine, where'd you figure that? He's punishing me for some reason. Sephiros, again, we ask, where'd you figure that? It's raining. Moonshine, so? It rains everywhere I go. Teriel, the Lord does not concern himself with punishing one person who does such good deeds. And how do you know? Teriel, I am an archangel of heaven. And do you speak with the big guy himself? Teriel paused at that for a moment. Ha! Teriel, I do his will. That is sufficient. Bull. Tuxedo Mask, we're approaching the rogue encampment. Are they going to explain how Tuxedo Mask managed to get here? Well, maybe Sailor Pluto helped him. As they finally looked ahead of them inside of the fight between Teriel and Centauri, the Titans noticed that fact was true. They were approaching the encampment. The encampment had set up temporary walls made of pieces of trees and logs from the forest. They were bound together with a vine-like substance which wrapped around two at a time, and more at a time to connect them all. How they stayed up was a mystery. Akara, the high priestess of the Sisters of the Sightless Eye, stood by the main gate between two female rogues with bows and arrows. Akara, welcome back, heroes. Hello, Akara. Anything new? None as of yet. I assume you weren't successful in capturing Indariel. You are correct with your assumptions. She escaped within the den of evil. That is sad news. I must speak with the other sisters for new information. I recommend you and your group rest well. The war is hardly over. Agreed. Akara hurried off, and the five took up camp near the center of the encampment. All right, Darian. What are you doing here? Darian looked around at the Titans and Teriel. Things in Tokyo have gotten worse. Lucy, how so? For several days now, there have been an eclipse that blots out the sun nearly indefinitely. Scientists can't explain it. Not even Amy's computer can pinpoint what's going on. The sailor soldiers are up to their ears in fighting off the constant wave of demons after demon attacking the city. They've had little time for food or rest. Amy estimated a total of up to 48 days until everyone will be too weak and tired and hungry to stop the onslaught of demons. Maybe less in Serena's case. Everyone looked at the ground at this unhappy news. Well, what's so strange about the eclipse that it's over Tokyo besides the fact at hand? Darian. The fact that the eclipse ends right when you leave Tokyo in any direction. Michelle. We have to locate the other two Sailor Titans. It's the only way we're going to stop the three prime evils. Teriel. Before that can happen, you must destroy Indariel. Voice. Agreed. The five snapped their heads around to see a woman in light armor approaching them. I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong here. Heratli? I am Heratli. I train the rogues around here. Greetings. Lucy, do you want to give us some rogues to help us? Heratli? I'll just call her H. H. We can't help you anywhere until we defeat someone who's been bothersome to us for some time. Michelle, elaborate. H. Not far from here, there is a cemetery where we put all of our dead warriors. But a former friend of mine, Bloodraven, was corrupted by Indariel. Bloodraven is now rising up the dead into an army. If you can take Bloodraven out or show her back into the light again, the flow of undead warriors should or would end. The Titans considered this for a moment. Teriel, she has a point. It would slow down Indariel and make her easier to vanquish. Michelle, I love the way you talk. Ryuisu turned them away from H for a moment. Doesn't anyone else think this is a little convenient? I mean, we've had incredible luck recently. We've never been this lucky before. Lucy, things change. They turned to H once more. Lucy, which direction are the burial grounds? Alright, dramatic pause, another scene. Mephisto slashed his tentacles and claws against the pots and other assorted objects inside the durance of hate. Mephistos. Indariel! The spider-like demon woman stepped out from the shadows. Indariel. You call, my lordship? You have failed. Mephisto's tentacles shot out and sliced into Indariel. She screamed in pain as she saw the gash in her shoulder from Mephistos. Failure is not tolerated. The next time you fail, the pain will be more severe than you've ever felt, Indariel. I've trusted you into every important task. Destruction of the Titans. Why do they continually win? They are always saved at the last minute by something or another. Do not worry, I will not fail. I will destroy the Titans. Dramatic space means another scene. Those are the burial grounds, I presume. The Titans, Teriel, and Tuxedo Mask were behind a small hill and some shrub bushes about 20 feet away from the cemetery. There was an iron gate surrounding the entrance to the grounds, with iron bars extending around the cemetery, with the entirety of 70 square feet total in area for the entire burial grounds. The ground had a path put into it with stone bricks. In front of the bricks, as they were separated and connected once again, were gravestones, of course. Moonshine. Looks like it. Tuxedo Mask. Do any of you see Blood Raven? Sephiros. How can we even tell she's here? H didn't exactly give us a picture or anything. Some technologies just don't reach this far into the area, Sephiros. Teriel. Should we attack? Yes, but with strategy. Tux. Hang back as backup in case we need help. The rest of you, follow me! The Titans and Teriel followed Centauri as he ran, slicing through the iron gate with his giga blades, into the burial grounds. They looked around. There was no signs of anything here. Moonshine. Perhaps H was wrong. No, we're not that lucky. Suddenly everyone heard a faint footstep noise coming from the left of them. They all turned to see a woman with pale skin walking towards them. She was wearing a tight brown leather over her chest, no pants except for a pair of leather shorts around her pelvic region. She wore a bone mask, fitting from what appeared to be a cow skull. She held a bow in her hand and a quiver of arrows on her back. She slowed to a stop as she was 10 feet away from them. Teriel. Blood Raven, I presume. Blood Raven. Your presuming is correct, Archangel. Now join my army of the dead. Blood Raven rose her arms into the air as the gravestones began to shake and quiver. Undead zombie hands began to rise up from the ground, pushing the dirt away as they moved. About 15 of them in all, they surrounded the four in a tight circular formation. I think we're in trouble. Sephiros. Never! Sephiros, valiant charge! Sailor Sephiros pointed her ring out at the group of zombies, and a fiery silhouette of a woman running shot out into the large group. Exploding on impact, the blast exploded the zombies into blood and body pieces. Moonshine. Moonshine, mirror! Moonshine's staff became a mirror, and the light of the moon reflected off of it into a solid beam, vaporizing the zombies as the light hit them. Okay, I noticed a little plot hole when it comes to Sailor Moonshine. Can she only fight when the moon's out? If so, that is incredibly inconvenient. I mean, Sailor Moon can fight during the day, in the evening, at night, even fight indoors with no problem, but Sailor Moonshine, it seems like she relies on the moon in order for her to do her job. So yeah. Giga Destroyer! Panels and compartments opened up all over Centauri's chest armor, arm armor, blah 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 blah. I'm skipping that. Blood Raven merely stood there and surveyed the carnage of her undead minions. Blood Raven, do you know what's so good about living in a cemetery? All the bodies I could want. Undead are Teriel, this is him saying his attack. Sword Azurath! Teriel's flaming crystal sword shot out at Blood Raven, who dodged, but being an inch away from the flame singed her skin, or what was left of it. Blood Raven, that hurt. Blood Raven reached for an arrow in her quiver and placed it in her bow. She shot at Centauri, who couldn't move quick enough to stop her or dodge. The arrow hit his stomach with shocking precision and power, knocking him to the ground in pain. Ah! It's so cold! Blood Raven reached for another arrow, pulling it back in her bow and releasing it towards Sailor Moonshine, who dodged the arrow as it hit a nearby plant, which burst into flames. Teriel, she has a special bow. We must take cover. The others complied, taking shelter behind tombstones and monumental structures. Blood Raven continually fired her arrows at them, despite that they were hiding behind. Blood Raven, come out, Sailor Titans. We all must die sometime. Centauri aimed his arm around, and the missile port opened. No way, Blood Raven. Giga Missile! The missile shot out at Blood Raven, the explosion rocketing her backward several feet. She was still up and took aim again, this time at Centauri once more, who was now fully exposed. She aimed her bow and arrow, and a rose flew down, cutting her hand. She immediately dropped the arrow, holding her cut hand in pain. Thank you, Tux. But do you think for once in your life you can arrive just before the nick of time? Tuxedo Mask. I'm glad to see you too, Centauri. Blood Raven, you'll pay for that, Cape Boy. Blood Raven aimed her bow and arrow once more, 2 feet away from Tuxedo Mask. Suddenly, Azurath was sticking through Blood Raven's stomach. She looked at it for a moment, then yelled a defeating scream. She evaporated into nothing. Teriel was holding Azurath in still the same position. Teriel, I think the problems with the undead just became solved. To be continued. And that's the end of today's episode. Stay tuned for the next one, guys. I'll be here. Trust me. And if I'm not here, then no one's probably going to review it. You'll just see an empty space. Or, yeah. Okay, see you guys next time.